5 Tzu Chi volunteers drive 2 brand new Optical Mobile Clinic vans from California to New York. Tzu Chi volunteers finally help a family of 3 drastically change their living conditions after many rejections. Welcome to DaAi Headlines and Lori Chen. Thank you for joining us. Back in March, the 2019 TIMA Global Forum was held. During the event, there were 2 brand new optical mobile clinics given to the New York TIMA medical team. Therefore, 5 New York medical volunteers went to the Tzu Chi US Headquarters in San Dimas, California to pick up the vans and decided to embark on an 8-day journey back to Flushing, New York. The volunteers hope to serve the community at large and help everyone improve their overall vision needs.
Most of the kids you remember when you was in elementary school and middle school, your eyesight get blurry, but you don't know what's going on.
Nation Mobile is helping a lot of children and change the children's life. That's really very powerful. So the team in New York, they make a wish. They wanted to start a vision. And then this year, March, they have their mobile van.
还是
你们是纽约的吗？
对，可以用台语。
台语。
我这
小明，你好，感恩，
谢谢啊。
那行程我们打算是
Our plan for today is to drive for 10 hours, and it's going to be the same thing for tomorrow.
你那边的油还可以开多少迈？好的。
I'm very glad to have joined the Vision Mobile Clinic team. When we finally make it back to New York, we will be able to serve the community at large, especially helping the children to improve their overall vision needs. It's going to be an all-encompassing care. I think it's such a meaningful and honorable thing to be part of.
Today is the 8th day, which is the last day of the road trip. Tonight, we'll be resting at the Tzu Chi, New Jersey home, and tomorrow we'll be driving back to our home in Flushing, New York.
In the aftermath of Cyclone Idai, Mozambique is slowly making its way down the path of recovery. None of this could be possible without the many dedicated and diligent local volunteers. Right now, there are a total of 85 Maputo volunteers, leading 144 local volunteers in the disaster areas. Among them, 18 Maputo volunteers have vowed to relocate to the disaster areas to help guide the newly joined volunteers. They will continue to spread the seeds of great love all over this beautiful land. The beauty of Mozambique has not been destroyed by Cyclone Idai. In the aftermath of the disaster, even though some floodwater has not receded, it has turned itself into a pond. Life is moving on. Even though the National Highway 6 couldn't withstand the power of the natural disaster, the people will still always find a way to get to their destinations.
Be careful.
As As the sun sets, we transport the local volunteers back to the office of the Department of Education in Nyamatanda. This place, serving as the volunteer base, was kindly provided by the local government. This night, unexpectedly, the volunteers were rehearsing diligently.
Nossa, coração, é de fazer uma val. Saber qual é val? Ah? Val, né? Val é de ter uma experiência. Você quer ajuda tudo moçambicano ou só minha casa? Não. Ah, qual é? Todos, né? Sim.
On the 19th of this month, the Buddha Day ceremony will be taking place in Tika Village for all the affected residents. Here we see all the Maputo volunteers passing on their past experiences to the local volunteers. 40-year-old Olinda has made a huge life decision. She has decided to move from Maputo with her 3 children all the way to Sofala. She's among one of the 18 Maputo volunteers who have vowed to relocate here. The distance between the two places is 1,200 kilometers.
I'm
very grateful for everything Dharma Master Zhenyan has taught us. I know that I'm not good enough yet, but I will try my hardest to better myself each and every day. I will keep on being mindful and diligent in everything that I do. I will learn to change my mindset and perspectives on things. I'm so grateful to be handed the opportunity to serve others by the Master. Please do not worry, Master. I vow to live in Nyamatanda and will recruit more people to join in the ranks of volunteers. I will keep on spreading the seeds of great love all over this land. Thank you.
19-year-old Rafiq is still in the 10th grade. When he is not studying in class, you will find him doing volunteer work. In his eyes, Tzu Chi is very different from all the other relief organizations.
Tzu Chi gave the aid materials to the people who were really in need of it. However, the other organizations doesn't always necessarily distribute the aid supplies directly to the affected residents. At times, they would end up giving aid materials to the people who don't really need it as much. So I really want to be a part of Tzu Chi.
Under the moonlight, a big pot of rice is steaming hot. This is what they usually eat, the loaf from Taiwan's rice with beans. However, tonight was slightly different. There was a special dish that was added in the mix, coconut.
These are fresh coconuts. Today, when we went to the disaster areas to conduct home visits, we got these as a surprise present. We visited the households that had received our construction materials during the distributions. One of the households went and got these fresh coconuts and said that it was their way of saying thank you to us. They were so grateful for the tools, especially the shovel they received. They wanted us to bring the coconuts back and share it with all the Tzu Chi volunteers.
It's mealtime. Everyone gathered together after a hard day's work. Like any other night, all the volunteers got into their respective tents to rest. Thinking back, the majority of the volunteers have been living out of tents since the end of March till now. Living in the same conditions as the affected residents is how the local volunteers can truly understand what they are going through. They have been giving it their all with true love and care from within. This is how they are able to sleep peacefully and soundly throughout the many nights out here. Xiamen Tzu Chi volunteers have been regularly accompanying the recycling volunteers at the Jiaomei Recycling Station in Fujian. There's a group of hardworking senior recycling volunteers that live nearby the recycling station. No matter rain or shine, they're dedicated in the cause of environmental protection. Let's meet some of these diligent volunteers. The scooters filled with recyclable goods. Xu Meili has been a recycling volunteer for 5 to 6 years now. Even though she suffers from lymphatic dysfunction, she says that doing recycling every day has made her healthier.
My daughter told me that I should go travel, should take a trip with them. I said that I don't like to go out. I just like to do good deeds. I told her to just let me keep doing good things for this world. I don't want to waste time traveling.
Going into the markets and asking the vendors for recyclable goods, Xu Meili does not care about the many negative comments people make about her. If it's the right thing, just do it. Her husband has been one of her biggest support systems, doing what he can to help others as well.
I told him that we should do a good deed each day. We can save our daily spare change and accumulate it to help those who are in need.
Near the Jiaomei recycling station lives a group of sincere and diligent recycling volunteers.
I don't dare to sleep at noon on Saturdays. When it's time, I would head out and do recycling. I would think how great it is that I can help out in this way. When I'm sorting the recyclables, I have no worries on my mind.
Someone told me that I had lost my status as a teacher. I was puzzled, and they said a teacher should not be picking up garbage. I told them that if I were to go steal something or do something illegal, then I would lose all credibility. But I'm doing recycling. I'm actually protecting the environment.
77-year-old Chen Shouying does recycling with all 4 generations of her family. Be environmentally friendly, be a good neighbor to others, and spread the spirit of great love all around. Staying in China, recently a new recycling point has been established in a community in Lingying, Shandong. The space was provided by a local Tzu Chi volunteer. Her goal is to inspire the local residents to implement environmental protection concepts into their daily lives. In addition, she invited other volunteers and the public to promote various ways to safeguard the earth.
In Shandong, a new recycling point has been established in one of the local communities of Lingying City. The residents are more than happy to have a recycling point in their very own community. Almost 100 individuals showed up at the environmental protection sharing session held by the local Tzu Chi volunteers.
Through today's event, I've learned more about recycling, such as conserving water usage, saving electricity, and reducing paper usage. Volunteers also taught us how to store the recyclables, as well as the making of eco-enzyme from raw waste.
Volunteers share all about Tzu Chi's environmental protection concepts, from recycling to reducing the usage of plastics, as well as making eco-enzyme from household waste. Many people were inspired and wanted to implement these newly learned recycling methods into their daily lives.
Let's imagine what life would be like if there are tons of garbage surrounding us. It must be a very uncomfortable life to live, right? Therefore, we need to start reducing our usage of plastic bags. It won't happen overnight, but slowly we're all capable of doing it.
I am grateful for all of my fellow Tzu Chi volunteers for walking into our community to promote recycling to the local residents. The fact that I can do my part in providing this small storage space as a recycling spot for everyone to come do recycling makes me truly happy.
The newly established recycling spot directly in the home of a local Tzu Chi volunteer is a glimmer of hope for the community. All the volunteers hope to inspire more residents to implement environmental protection concepts into their everyday lives in order to reduce our carbon footprints and safeguard Mother Earth.
There's a family of 3 who are long-term care recipients of Tzu Chi in Taiwan. The elderly mother suffered from a stroke, and her 2 children are both mentally challenged. Due to their inabilities to care for themselves, their living conditions have become less than ideal. After much effort and patience, the volunteers were finally able to convince the family to let them help them clean their home.
It's empty. It's empty here.
Your daily life is very convenient, but we still hope to clean the dust from your home. We will wipe it with bleach.
I'll clean this room myself.
The care recipient is physically challenged. His mother had a stroke and his sister is mentally challenged. They have gathered a lot of stuff. Most are expired and are very dirty. There's so many things that the only empty spaces are where they sleep. Before the Lunar New Year, I accidentally pulled the socket out, so I put it back, and there were sparks which scared me. I told him that this was dangerous. It would cause a short circuit and a fire. If the fire occurred, he wouldn't be able to escape because he was immobile. I said that we wanted to help him by replacing all the wires with new ones, but we had to clear away everything first. Gradually, he agreed to what I said, and we could do it.
后来他慢慢就认同了，就愿意了。
自己不要绑定，编我绑定了。哎，对，好啦，安尼家己唱，真满意。哎呀，
伊愿意改变啦吼。阿头，你有欢喜无？有啦。
When we first came here, we couldn't open the door all the way, so we had to squeeze ourselves through this narrow space created by a partially open door.
哎呀，老爸一早做投资呀，哎呀，超过10年以上了，爸爸往生应该就留到这里了。你这房间水当当，阿兄房间马上水当当啊！是啊。他还是觉得很多都是宝，都是一些药，摸的啦、吃的啦都有啊。
那是什么？
这个啊，这个不能丢掉啊！
He felt this was useful, so he wanted to keep it, but he didn't know it was expired and had a lot of bacteria.
还有这个什么？2006年呐，现在2019年嘞。拜托啦，我提新的来跟你换。
一般我不给叮当的，真的，那个都是我的外出要用的。
我给你买。 我给你买哈。
哎，偌济钱甲你买？甲你讲。
他们偌济？
买，我那个我没那个。
他还有一些不舍，所以要跟他一直商量，一直商量。甲你等掉，啊你来遐，我传人位哦，你坐。
我现在要请出最佳男主角。
Now I'm inviting our best man to come out, the best man. Bing Huang has the most handsome heart. You're so nice and good to your mom, so you're handsome.
我的上恩党。来，师兄来。师兄帮忙了。
5星级的。
5星级的。
是不是5星级？
米其林。
姐弟家没有确定说东西要。
We wanted him to sit here to identify things he wants or not. We will separate them. Too many things will become a burden to him. I also hope that he will learn to let go, to know how to give things away.
蛇的后面就是
他所有的寝具都是湿的。
拢打没有？
你讲讲哈，就是湿湿啦。
他都在床上尿尿，那比较脏啊。你擦了几遍了？我擦5遍有了。
你都看迄枕头有舒适无？
就舒服哎。 就是哦，运动自己站起来。
感恩上人。
I want to thank Master Zheng Yan for sending some white angels to help us, so thank you.
很感谢。
你要剃什么头？
放下了所有的一些。
He puts down all his pride to allow so many people to enter their house, especially to his room, which is his private space, so we feel we must thank him.
来讲，我们已经觉得要很感恩他了。
Speaking of helping care recipients clean up their homes, we'll meet 75-year-old Grandma Lu. She has high blood pressure and both of her legs suffer from varicose veins, leading her to have mobility issues. During the home visits, the volunteers found her house to be very cluttered, leading volunteers to mobilize a team to do some cleanup duties.
We can find many tourists in the old town of Suzhou. After walking down the lane, we find 75-year-old Grandma Lu. There are many things piled up inside her house.
Grandma Lu is someone who avoids wasting things, so there are many items that she doesn't want to throw away. As things have cluttered her house, flies and insects have begun breeding, becoming a serious problem.
The health condition of Grandma Lu isn't good, therefore she couldn't clean up the house. As she doesn't like to throw away things, volunteers have tried their best to persuade her.
你就坐在这里，你把东西 告诉我们哪个要哪个不要，我们帮你。
这个以后先弄这里弄清楚了。我这没有多少垃圾，等下我自己带出去了。
After persuading Grandma Lu, Tzu Chi volunteers have started the cleanup.
来，多美呀！
They have separated the recyclables for her, and at the same time, they kept their promise to not clean up the area that she wanted to clean by herself.
奶奶，我跟你约定好不好？
一个星期一个就一个月弄掉。
啊，一个月哈，好，太棒了。很感恩奶奶实现这样子的。
I'm happy to help Grandma Lu. While cleaning up her home, I've learned that we must cherish everything we have. And we have the power, even just a little bit, we should go help others in need. I'm glad to see Grandma Lu's life has changed for the better.
可以有完全不同的生活。
After cleaning up for more than 1 hour, Grandma's house has become cleaner. Volunteers also send their best wishes to her.
玫瑰花、百合花、月季花，送给你。
As volunteers, we make sure that we'll visit Grandma every 2 days to deliver love and care for her. I hope this can bring joy to her. And also, some of the volunteers wanted to bring their children to Grandma Lu's house to make her feel happy.
In preparation for the upcoming Buddha Day ceremony this month, Tzu Chi volunteers throughout Taiwan are busy with various tasks. In Zhongli, volunteers are using PET bottles and making it into eco-friendly apple decorations. Let's check out the final products.
Volunteers are busy sorting through a sea of PET bottles.
We wanted bottles that weren't squeezed flat. To find good ones, we went to a recycling station in Zhongli, which had a lot of good PET bottles.
After locating suitable PET bottles, they are cleaned and separated based upon color. Then they are cut into different sizes, with a Jingzi aphorism placed inside each one, along with some candy, and then assembled. This is a delightful apple produced at the Tzu Chi Zhongli grounds in order to celebrate Buddha Day. It's one way to connect with the local community.
This sort of crystal apple symbolizes blessing and peace. Inside there is some candy, as we want them to have a sweet tongue and heart and be able to interact and connect with other people.
The leaves are also come from the bottle. After they are cut, we solder them on top here.
In the production process, many volunteers rely upon their experience but may forget about some necessary precautions.
I might burn myself on occasion. This is because adding these leaves requires a hot soldering iron.
The upper part and the bottom piece have different thickness. The top is thinner and the bottom is thicker. From our experience, we note this and account for it when doing the cutting.
Some 50 volunteers come together to form one team. They spend a week making 1,000 of these crystal apples. The volunteer responsible for recruiting them feels that coming together and doing this work gives them a feeling of accomplishment.
We gain a feeling of accomplishment. You may even learn something from this work with other people, like how we have to cooperate. We spend a lot of time trimming and fixing these pieces before they are able to be put together.
For the annual pilgrimage, many people gather at the break of dawn at the Tzu Chi Jingsi Hall at the Penta Indah Kapuk in Indonesia. Everyone participated with the utmost sincerity. Thank you for watching. See you next time.